Hey everyone, and welcome back to Why Is This a Podcast? I'm your host, Kerean Watts. Very excited today. I'm joined from Simple Politics by Tatton Spiller, who I'm a massive fan of his work and the work of Simple Politics. It's a great resource for those who want to become a bit more politically engaged and a bit more politically knowledgeable. So I'd strongly recommend checking it out.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Tatton. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
It's lovely to chat to you.
As I say, I'm a massive fan of your work. It's great. As we were saying in the sort of like the pre-interview stage, it's very much simple without being patronizing, without being condescending. So I wanted to ask you, where did Simple Politics come from? Where was the sort of the genesis of it?
Well, I was a teacher, and I'd spent some time. It didn't exist, and it annoyed me because I want something. I'm not very clever, and I wanted somebody to explain stuff to me, and nobody was doing that. And I thought maybe I should try and explain stuff to people who are more on my wavelength than anything else. Yeah, like there was a particular education bill going through Parliament that it changed grades from ABC to 1 to 9, and I didn't really understand it.
I remember that actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was a big change. I didn't really understand what was going on, and I couldn't quite get it. So I went to try. I hit the internet, and it was apart from reading the actual bill itself, which is really technical. It didn't exist.
In which nobody in their right mind wants to do.
No, I mean absolutely not. Like even now, I only read bills in the very, very last resort. But I wasn't there, and I just got really annoyed that it wasn't. And I thought, and I was really not enjoying teaching at the time. So I wanted to do something else. And I thought, I can do this. I can explain. So I went part-time and did it.
You're doing it very, very well.
I don't think. It's got better over time.
Everything's a learning curve.
Everything's a learning curve.
I'm learning while doing this podcast.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a learning curve. This podcast is, it's been a learning curve for me, and like you get the feedback and things. One of the things that I admire about Simple Politics and why I think it's so useful is the fact that you are non-partisan. You're completely, you do the yes, no on the issues that you talk about.
Yeah, woos and boos.
Views and booze, that's it.
Woos and boos.
I think that's valuable because people don't trust the media in many respects. They don't trust sort of the commentary that they see about they don't trust the people giving them information because they think, oh, they're just biased one way or the other. So that's what I admire about Simple Politics. At the same time, we've all got our implicit political biases and our ideological leanings. Is it difficult for you to kind of separate that from how difficult is that?
No, it's not difficult at all because it's not about me. This isn't me sitting you down and telling you what I think about things, because what I think about things is very important. Now shut up. No, I'm explaining what's going on. I'm talking about, like, if someone stops you in the street for directions, it's not hard to tell them where to go or give them a couple of routes rather than telling them where you're going.
Exactly.
They don't care where you're going. Like, they just want to know where they're going.
You prefer.
Yeah. Like, it's just, there's that one or there's that one, whatever. They all take you to the park. Yes, let's go with the park. That's what I get. That nothing's about me.
Yeah, I'm decidedly not apolitical on these. I'm just trying to get people's.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is a personal podcast to you. You're putting across what you want to do. Like, Simple Politics isn't a personal project. I don't think anyone would be vaguely interested in my political ramblings. I think the point is, it's doing something else. Like it's, again,
And there's so much of people's political ramblings out there.
yeah.
I find it very refreshing to have something which is this kind of utility that's just, oh, these are the facts. This is the case for. This is the case against.
And you see that's really at the heart of simple politics, because it's not just the facts and the information. It's helping you understand why the other person is disagreeing with you, because it's so easy with our echo chambers and whatever to be really caught up in our perspective and not think about why the other person, they're not evil because they disagree with you.
Yeah.
That they've just come to a different conclusion, and that's what simple politics is about. It's about bringing people together and having better conversations about politics.
Which I think that's what we need. We need, especially, we're a very, very divided country for one thing, a very divided world for another.
Yeah, families are very divided.
Indeed, families. I mean, I'm not going to ask you what your political leanings are personally. I myself, I'd identify as being in the centre, maybe centre left, but I try and get kind of a balance in who I read the news from. So I'll read, like, for the left wing, I'll read the Guardian. Maybe for the right wing, I'll read the Telegraph. If I could stomach it, I'll read the Spectator. Maybe I'll just take a look at those. I'll take a look at BBC News, and then globally, I'll look at things like NPR and the Atlantic. So it's, balance is important, and I do like that kind of thing. It's bringing people together around a subject that so often drives them apart. So yeah, how do you, in simple politics, how do you kind of decide what elements of the conversation do you want to put forward? How do you decide, like, your topics and whose viewpoints you articulate?
Part of the point is to be simple, is to strip away the stuff that doesn't really matter. So first of all, anything that's really about a politician rather than the country doesn't get reported. We try and have as few personalities on the page as possible. I can't get away from quoting Boris Johnson or Keir Starmer, because they're so important to what's going on. So we look at what's happening that day and what people need to know, what's going to impact their life, what's going to help them understand what's going on. I mean, today we're recording on the 19th of October, and this afternoon there's two statements in the House of Commons. We have Mark Drayford speaking at lunchtime, so we obviously covered him because there's a really big story about this, the fire break. And then Michael Gove is speaking in the House of Commons at 3:30. And he's unlikely to say anything particularly that's going to impact anyone's lives that we don't already know. It's likely that what he's going to say is also still going to be part of the negotiation. So he's going to say, we will walk away. We don't need the EU. Not speaking to us, he's speaking to the EU, making the EU go, oh, they're going to walk away, so we'll give them everything they want. It's all negotiating. And because we haven't got anything definite yet, it's very unlikely that we'll update on that will explain anything he's said, because people don't need to know it until we have more certainty. They don't need to know what's going on today. And then Matt Hancock is on at about 4:30, and almost certainly he will say something that will impact on people's lives in the UK. I'm not sure what he's going to say at the moment, which is unusual. Normally it's quite clear. But if he says something, it's about what are people going to what's going to help people through their lives, what's going to help people through their day, to understand what's going on. A lot of people I get a lot of messages talking about how we save people from watching the news. When the news is so unrelentingly bleak, they just follow us. So there's a responsibility there to bring them the stories that they need to know about. I wish I had like a clever process I could tell you. I just look at the news and go, oh yeah, we'll do that today, and we'll see what happens there.
I write about public health myself. That's part of my full-time job. And I'm like that kind of, I'm in that kind of similar position. Is what stories are relevant. I don't want to go for something that's very technical and oblique. I want to go for something that's relevant, like you said, that impacts people's lives. And I really do respect that point that you make about the direct impact on the person, because it's, I think, a big part of the reason why people are disengaged politically, and why people don't sort of want to be part of the conversation, because they think none of this has anything to do with me, especially perhaps in more working class rural communities. They're like, well, this doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think that's largely the case before this virus. I think with the virus, no one says this doesn't matter. It's about kind of rural working class communities. It affects them just as much as anyone else. So it's an interesting problem for Simple Politics, because so many people have joined, have got on the bus in the last 6, 7, 8 months, how long it's been going on.
Yeah.
That they don't, the people a lot of the people who are now following Simple Politics aren't the people who were there before. They're there for the virus.
Yeah.
So they don't care about Brexit. They don't care about what's going on in the what I was going to say, smoke-filled corridors of Westminster. They're not filled with smoke anymore. So it's going to be, it's interesting how much we can post about legislation and how much we can post about Brexit and all that kind of thing, because all they want to know is, can they see their partner inside or not? That's what we want to know.
Can they see their parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can they get married? I mean, I get a lot of questions about marriage. All that kind of thing. That's what people want. It's not about amendments at the second reading in the House of Lords.
Yeah, exactly. And I admire that a lot. So I'm going to let you go in just a few minutes. I know that you've got to drop off very shortly. There's just one final aspect of Simple Politics that I admire. To discuss with you, which is your comment sections. You are ardent about civility and about respect.
I want to be more ardent. You've reminded me that I need to post something about being nice to each other, maybe on Friday.
How difficult is it to get people to be civil?
Well, I mean, I've got half a million social media followers, and when I had 20 people on Facebook, because I wasn't on Twitter or Instagram, they had the most lovely conversations, because they were only there to be lovely. They were lovely people who were there to be lovely. And then when you've got however many 100,000, people aren't there. People are there to be informed. They get angry with each other and they do whatever. I mean, like,
it can be like
the and disagreeing nicely is incredibly important to me, but I do not have time to moderate all the conversations that people have. So I just have to hope they're being nice. Occasionally someone will jump into my kind of messages and talk about how someone's, said terrible things. And then of course I just go and ban them. But I encourage civility rather than insist on it these days, because I just haven't got time to read every comment.
I mean, that's inevitable. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never said it on this podcast series. Actually, it's like leave a comment, like, subscribe, leave a night. I don't really care about what people say about me. I
Yeah.
do care about what people say to each other.
Yeah.
My
I
ego,
mean,
my ego can take it.
yeah.
You may say something to someone who's especially vulnerable, and that could have a massive effect on that person. Whereas, you say somebody calls me a wanker, I don't really care.
But you see, I disagree with you on that. I don't think the audience matters. I think it's about the way you say things.
Yes.
I don't, you shouldn't not shout and swear because someone might take it badly. You shouldn't do it because it's not a nice thing to do, and there's no reason to do it. Like,
I mean, sort of. It's from my. If a comment was directed at me, it doesn't really make a difference to me, as much as I don't think that they should do it that way. I don't think anyone should do it. I think civility is needed.
always.
And I'm not an angel in that. I've left comments in the past. But I mean, it's just sort of. I think I agree. I just phrased it badly, but I agree with you in the sense that it's not constructive to have a dialogue that's that's just sort of. I mentioned like the Colosseum of like sort of just gladiators fighting it out with lions and things.
Yeah.
It's better to just have a conversation.
Peace and love, tolerance, respect. It's the good stuff.
Peace and love and tolerance and respect is a wonderful note to end on. Tatton, it's been lovely having you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, it's nice to chat. Thank you very much for having me on.
And Simple Politics you can find on Facebook. It's a great resource. Please use it, but use it civilly.
Absolutely.
Use it civilly, use it well, and just be engaged and
be nice.
And be nice. Peace, love, tolerance, respect.
That's what it's about.
Tatton said it. I agree.
I certainly did.
So please apply those principles, not just online as well, but in person, in your daily lives. Tatton, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kerean. Nice chat to you.
From Simple Politics, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.